Hey, how's it going? Thanks for pressing play on this episode of the Jock and Nerd podcast. Marvel's street-level heroes finally team up as we give you our full spoiler review of The Defenders on Netflix.
Geek Boner.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, together at last. Was it worth the wait? We go over what worked, what didn't work. We rank it against the other shows and talk about what's next for Phase 2 of Marvel on Netflix. Plus, a little bit of Jock news and some Defender reviews from you, the listener, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, August 24th, 2017.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. I'm jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Give it up one time.
Yo, what's up, fam? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Can I say that, fam? Am I too old to say that, Anthony?
You can. Sure, whatever.
Look, the Jock's going to let me get away with it. This is your weekly Geek Fest, where we talk about comic book and superhero-related news, reviews, and interviews. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And Anthony said I can say fam. So I'm going to say, what's up, fam? And joining us, listener, is nobody.
No one.
Just
OG.
Jock and Nerd style, just the Jock and the Nerd. Ruggs couldn't make this one. And Anthony, I got to tell you, he was sending me some vague messages. I don't know what's going on with him. He asked if I could find a puppet lawyer.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Right? And I didn't know if he meant a lawyer for puppets or a lawyer that was also a puppet. I'm not sure. But
It's always really vague with him. What's going on?
oh my God. So many vagaries. I don't know what's going on, Ruggs. I hope you stay on this side of the law. Good luck
Stay out
to
of
you.
trouble, kid.
Stay out of trouble, kid. But we're running this old school, just you and me.
You got a real nice slack hole they'll enjoy in prison. Let me tell you.
That's true. Your slack hole would not survive a minute in prison. This is what those prisoners live for. They're like, give me a good slack hole. Every time a puppet gets thrown in jail, an angel gets his wings or something. I don't know. Welcome
Baby Jesus Christ.
Baby Jesus gets one tear. Welcome to the show. But I can't remember the last time you and me just did this old school, honestly.
I know. It's been so long.
This is going to be great. This is going to be great. Here's what we're going to do on the show, listener. Of course, you saw the title. This is our big...
The median age of the show just went down. It's really good. I really appreciate that.
Automatically, the show got younger, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
When we get rid of one Generation Xer.
Is that what you guys are?
Well, you know, there's a new generation in between Millennial and the Xers now.
What's that?
It's so stupid. I forget the years, but they're saying if you were born anywhere from like late 70s, early 80s, you're called the Xennials. It's like millennial with an X instead of an M. It's the stupidest name. And it's all like the people who are born before the digital revolution, but also were young enough to adopt it and accept it and embrace it. And then the next generation just fucking had everything. They had internet.
They did it all.
They had streaming TV. Didn't have to wait for shit. I think you may be an Xennial.
Nah, I'm late 80s.
Okay, I forget the years. It is the name of it made me mad.
The Xennials?
Yeah.
How do you even spell that?
I don't know. Wait, I'm gonna look at this. The micro generation between Gen X.
Nope, that's not me.
And
77 and 83.
77 and 83. So I'm just on the outside at a 76.
Get the fuck out of here. 36.
What?
Not as in years old, but in 1936.
That's when I was born. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm looking pretty good for 97 years old.
You look worse.
Look, thanks for checking the show out. If you're a first-time listener, this is what we're going to do. You see the title. It's going to be a big spoiler-full
Spoiler alert.
Defenders review. Marvel's The Defenders on Netflix. 8-episode finally dropped. Super geek to talk about it.
We watched this in record time.
I mean, there was only 8 episodes, so it was nice and digestible. And some people like binged through it in a day, and that was amazing. But before,
I want to tell you and the listener something first.
Yeah.
Before we get into anything.
Yeah.
I started
Oh, no.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Holy crap, listener. This sucks because now I have to watch Game of Thrones. Well, what did you think? Quick, give me your experience real quick.
So I've watched 2 episodes, right?
Yes.
The first episode, I was intending to watch the first episode, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is really fucking confusing. I don't understand anything that's going on. Why are they not really introducing any of the characters to me? It kind of just started. And then I watched it, and then I was like, well, let me read up what happened, because I have no idea what the fuck just happened. I read up on it on Wikipedia. I'm like, wait, none of this happened. None of this happened in the show I just saw.
This is a different show.
Then I went back, and HBO Go lists the episodes from the last episode first on top to the first episode being on the bottom.
Yes.
So I ended up watching the season finale of the first season of Game of Thrones first.
Lame.
You watched the last episode
I watched
first?
the last episode first.
That had to be confusing.
It was quite confusing. Although now I've caught up and watched the first episode.
Yes.
So I've watched the last episode of the first season and the first episode ever in that order. And already things are kind of clicking for the last episode.
I love this. First of all, though, you've just created work for me, Anthony, because now I got to watch it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna make you feel better. I'm going to watch the whole show in reverse. I'm going to memento it. I'm going to start at the most recent season, and just watch each one episode back.
That'd be an interesting social, not social, but personal experiment.
How do you think that would work?
I don't know.
It would be. My mind hurts just thinking about it. Okay, so you saw the first episode. Are you in? What's the deal?
First episode, I was like, okay, I'll watch another episode, but I wasn't like, I'm in yet. The whole like pseudo fantasy game, not Game of Thrones, but like Lord of the Rings, where it's like castles and kings, never really appealed to me.
Yeah.
But I said the same thing about zombies too, and I'm now fully invested in the Walking Dead. So
it's
the first episode. Wow, I'm acting like this is like just came out yesterday, but everyone probably knows this. But the first episode does end on a cliffhanger where I'm like, what? All right, I gotta watch the next episode.
I mean, it's HBO. It's gonna be quality crap. Now I gotta watch it, listener.
Eventually, the show will become a show where we can talk about that stuff.
Holy shit, listener! Did that get anyone?
Geek boner.
There may be Game of Thrones discussion in the future of this podcast. Wow. All right. Fuck.
Yeah.
I
jumped the shark, as they say.
You did. I got to get to work and try to keep up with you, but good for you. That's going to be exciting moving forward. Before we get to the Jock news, I want to mention, check out our last episode because we had a great time with a loyal listener, super patron of the show, Joe Henry. Paid us at a high Patreon tier that earned him a guest spot on the show. And I loved meeting him. I loved how he if you listen, he is like all three of us kind of combined. Perfect audience for the show. And he's such a cool guy. So I just want to share, he wrote us the thank you email.
Oh.
So I want to share that before we start. Also, during the show, it was off mic, but we talked about how he found us, and he found us through the Chris Barrett Destiny episode. And started listening there. So he says, thank you for having me on the show, guys. I had a great time. Like a dumbass, I forgot to mention the other podcast community that mentioned your show in their Discord. It was Destiny Reset Podcast, or the DRP Podcast and Family. They're a podcast that talks about Destiny the game. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have become a fan of the show. I'm going to take your suggestion and listen to all of your old podcasts from the beginning to catch up on all the classic geekery. Thanks again, Joe. First of all, thanks to Destiny Reset Podcast,
those guys,
for shouting out that show. And that's what Joe said. All the listeners should do. If you have just joined us in the past year, past 6 months, we're on episode 183. There's hours, days worth of content to be enjoyed. There's some great evergreen episodes, but you could go back to listen to the first fucking stupid episode where I sound like I've taken 12 Valium. And it's like an NPR sleepy show. It's great. Like,
Joe Henry was a very good guest.
Yeah, Joe's great. I love Joe.
I enjoyed having him.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Let's get to a little bit of Jock news this time.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
If you want to get in touch with the show, listeners, send us some news emails. have a discussion.
News emails?
Or send us
New emails. Or just emails.
I don't even know what I'm saying. Honestly, to tell you the truth. What
Send
I'm
us
trying to
some
say.
news emails.
News emails.
Send us something, a link from like CNN or like Fox News.
Nothing that comes out of my
Huffington
mouth
Post.
is making any sense. Just visit the website, jockandnerd.com/contact for a way to contact the show, which is what I'm trying to fucking get out of my mouth. Our Twitter's there, our Facebook, our
Much dick.
What? Yeah, well, maybe.
Oh, shit.
His name is Richard. And so, listen, join our Facebook group. Joe Henry is not there. Now there. The discussion continues.
Jesus Christ. Do you
I
ever
can't
think
dude,
about what you're saying?
I don't know what I'm saying.
Joe Henry is not there.
He's not physically there, but he posts there. But
I guess, okay, you're right. You're right.
He joined. Nobody's physically there. It's an online Facebook group. But the discussion continues, and right now, today we were posting crazy things being released from the DCEU of one crazy announcement after another. None of which we're going to talk about in this episode because you kind of have to let that shit sit for a week and let it shake out because every hour there's the story changes. So there's no way to keep up with that. What we will talk about right now is some Jock news. Anthony, you wanted to mention some stuff. Take it away. I don't have any links for this. It's all you.
Some UFC/combat sports stuff. So this show comes out on Sunday. So as much as I want to talk about Miguel, who the fuck is Miguel?
It's contagious. My talking disease is contagious. Miguel and Mayfeather.
Miguel, who the fuck is Miguel? Mayweather and McGregor. It'd be pointless because any fight analysis at this point will be useless because you'll hear the show and then it'll have already happened. You in the future know the results of the fight. Yes, future people will know, and I predict that Floyd Mayweather wins by like 9th or 10th round TKO. So if I'm wrong, I'll look like a complete asshole. So
there you go.
we'll skip that. But the other big UFC news is have you heard of John Jones?
Yeah, the Martian Manhunter. He's an alien who hangs out with Supergirl.
That's Joanne Johns.
That's John Johns. That's somebody else.
Johns.
I stole that joke from Rug Boy anyway. Yo, I know. This is a tall, lanky dude.
Yeah.
Who's got a huge reach.
He does. Sure. Yes, he does have a huge reach. Yeah. More ways than one.
Reach around.
He is considered by many the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's basically undefeated.
I thought that was McGregor.
No.
It's John
McGregor
Jones.
is just the most famous guy.
Okay.
But John Jones is the best. He recently came back. He's been basically the best, like the best fighter in the world. He's like a prodigy, and he's also a complete fuck up.
Jeez.
So he just came back from not a steroid suspension, but a performance enhancing drug suspension.
Okay.
And he won back his title in July against Daniel Cormier, who's like his arch nemesis.
Okay.
And he beat him to get the title back. So it was like a great story. He finally came back and won. And this week he got popped for steroids again.
Oh, no.
Shit.
So this adds to the long list of shitty things he's done. So now he's popped twice now, allegedly, for performance enhancing drugs. He's been involved in a hit and run on a pregnant woman where he ran away from the scene of the crime. He's been caught doing cocaine prior to fights. He's been also caught crashing in his car into a tree with two women that weren't his wife.
Jesus.
So
this guy's a piece of
basically,
work.
this guy is just a fucking fuck up outside of the octagon. So I had to bring that up just because he is considered probably the best in the world. And if the steroid allegations hold up, he will probably have his career tarnished and he might just be done for his career.
I mean,
he'll probably get a 2 to 4 year suspension.
I was going to say, what is this, the NFL? Like, how is the UFC putting up with this? Why haven't they kicked him out yet?
Well, he still gets like due process where he can argue. So the first time he got popped for performance enhancing drugs, he argued that it was from dick pills.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that. Yeah.
So, and he wasn't completely exonerated, but it was like, these dick pills could have had it. We can't prove you are still pretty negligent in taking them, but we can't prove that you didn't take something else, that there was this drug in these dick pills. So, but now he can come up with some other excuse for why steroids came out.
Doesn't he know he's going to be tested? Why does he continue? So was he roided when he won his thing back, you think?
Well, the fight, he was tested right after the fight,
Yeah.
And that is the test that got flagged for steroids. So if he did take steroids, well, he did. He does have steroids in his body.
Yes.
During the fight. Now, if he took it knowingly or not, who knows? But he was technically roided up during the fight, which brings up a moral kind of issue in that, unlike baseball, where you can get roided up and it's bad, but you're just hitting home runs.
Yeah.
In fighting, if you're roided up, that's really bad because
you are
killing people. That is technically, not technically, but that could be looked at as a form of manslaughter.
Sure, involuntary manslaughter, or
if you are disobeying the rules in combat sports.
Damn.
There are dire consequences and that stuff.
Damn. I mean, that's an asterisk fight now, but
everything is an asterisk with him.
But it's more than just an asterisk like in baseball, like you just said. I didn't think about how, you could kill someone. You don't know.
So we'll see. I mean, he is afforded due process, so it's early, but not good. It's unbelievable and completely believable at the same time if you know anything about this man and his career so far.
He's like the bad boy of UFC. What do you think? Do you like the guy? What do you think of the guy?
I think he's amazingly talented. I also think he's a complete fuck. He's one of those guys. So early in his career, he was like this young prodigy that was like awesome. But he was also like this guy that was like, I want to be a role model for kids, and I just love God, and I would never disrespect God or disrespect the sport. I'm gonna carry the torch like a real champion. So he's always like had this front that he's been like this goody two shoes guy, and then he always has these fuck ups beneath him. So like it's everyone can tell he's just fake. And finally, he's even kind of embracing that he's just kind of an asshole.
Oh shit!
So I think it's personally, I think it sucks for the sport because he is amazing and people like to watch him. Yeah. And for like all his accomplishments to have this kind of asterisk behind it, it sucks. It sucks.
Not a great role model.
It's never good. It's not good. Not even the role model. It's just he's amazing to watch. And I'm gonna miss watching him perform.
Do you think he's done? Career's over for the most part.
It really depends on what his defense is and what the ruling is. But I mean, if he gets a 2 to 4 year suspension, he could get as much as 4 years. If he gets a 4-year suspension, his career's over. He's 30 already. To be out 4 years, it'll just kill his career.
Yeah, you're gonna lose momentum. Wow.
Yeah, that was huge.
That's crazy. And now someone needs to step up into his place and become the next guy.
Right. Well, that's the thing that sucks for Daniel Cormier, who lost to him twice. Is if he does get suspended, Daniel Cormier will probably become the champion again.
Oh, he gets the title by default.
He'll get the belt back, but he lost to the guy twice and can't avenge his loss. So it's one of those situations where it's like, well, you're not really the champ either.
In an unfair advantage fight also.
Right.
Man, wow. That's complicated.
It's just a bad situation all around.
That's crazy. I can't wait. So next week, listener, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the McGregor-Mayweather.
I'm going to be at a wedding, but I will do my best.
Where are you going to see it?
Yeah, I'll be at a wedding, but some of the guys are already trying to scheme and figure out a way to sneak in a little laptop.
Oh, what a day to
get
plan
that
a wedding.
Funny stream going through.
Bastards! How dare you put your wedding?
How
on this
dare
day.
they put a wedding on the biggest fight day in combat history?
Look, I say boycott the wedding. This happens. This is the fight of the century. You can get married whenever and several times and over again.
Statistics would say this wedding won't last.
Exactly.
This marriage won't last. No.
This fight, though, we're going to remember it forever. So next week, listener, subscribe to the show. Tune in. We will cover that, and we'll get back to more geek news and try to figure out what's happening over at DC Warner Brothers, the shit show that's over there.
Yeah.
Who makes the cut? But for now, let's get to the Defenders.
Jock and Nerd.
All right, Marvel's The Defenders on Netflix. Full spoiler here, so I'm going to play this.
Play it.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Oh, Ruggs, love you, miss you, but you're always here with us in spirit.
Go stroke a barbell.
So that's why it's great to have the Ruggs here. This is being called what Marvel Studios calling the beginning of Netflix's Phase 2.
Geek Boner.
On TV. They started putting phases on this. I saw this recently. I thought it was...
Didn't see that.
Very interesting. We talked about the Rotten Tomatoes score and how to actually use Rotten Tomatoes last week. Look at the average rating, and not the tomato meter, but for what it's worth, right now, tomato meter Critic score sitting at 75%. Audience score at 81%. Average critic rating, though, 6.58 out of 10. And as far as creative, I'm not going to go over the cast because pretty much everyone's in this. We'll talk about it when we get to talking about the cast. But the same creative team that brought us the Daredevil, season 2, Marco Ramirez show running, and the same guys behind the camera that brought us the Daredevils, which is why it looked a lot like Daredevil. But Anthony, let's start what we usually do with these reviews, opening thoughts, what we thought worked, what we thought didn't work, Easter eggs, blah, blah, blah. Now, 65 episodes of great to really questionable Marvel Netflix television.
Yeah, it's been a wide range of Marvel television up to this point.
So it's all led up to this Defenders that they announced way back when they announced all Daredevil in the very beginning.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to do this. Let's get your opening thoughts. Was it worth the wait?
Was it worth the wait? Well, it came in kind of limping off of, in my opinion, the bad Luke Cage leading second half.
Yes.
And then the very not good Iron Fist. So it came in, it wasn't coming in hot for sure, in my opinion. Was it worth the wait? In some moments of the show, yes, it was worth all the effort they'd put in.
Yeah.
I did like a lot of the character stuff that we'll get into later. But the first word that came to mind at the end of the show was disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the show overall had a pretty flimsy plot at best, and I thought that it seemed like Marvel TV didn't really have this thoroughly planned out. They just kind of threw everything together, and it kind of showed. And even though there were a lot of good character moments and some good action scenes, and it was nice seeing some of the cast members of different shows kind of interact with one another. Overall, I felt the whole show was disappointing, and I was not very impressed.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I tend to agree. I think I may have liked it a teeny bit better than you, but was I entertained? Yes. When the characters got together and had their moments, was that great? Yes, it was. It was very fun. I enjoyed watching it, but I was also slightly disappointed. It didn't seem to be... It left me hollow. It was kind of hollow, kind of empty. It wasn't as weighty as I wanted. They definitely embraced more of a pulpy comic book kind of thing, which is fine, but it left it just a little shallow at the end. And I was like, that was good, but like it should have been more. Could have had a little bit more. And what you said about they didn't really know where the plan was going is very interesting because I've read a little bit about that in terms of the hole and how far ahead they planned when they knew what was in the hole. But you are right. They just kind of made it up when they got to it. But Look, entertaining, slightly disappointing, not the worst, but not the best.
Yeah, I would go with at least it's better than Iron Fist.
Well, that's not hard, but yes, at least it's better than the Iron Fist. Let's talk about what worked for us. Where do you want to start? You want to start?
Sure, I'll start, you son of a bitch. I think the best parts of the show were the four of them interacting with one another. The nice little pairings of Matt Murdock and Jessica Jones and Finn and Iron Fist and Luke Cage. I liked anytime they were in a room together and bouncing off of one another. It worked for me. I really enjoyed the interactions between them. I really enjoyed that Iron Fist was just being made fun of the entire show. I love that Stick called him a thundering dumbass.
His Iron Fist is the thunder. And so one day, you're the dumbest Iron Fist yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's great. Everything. I mean, that the interactions between them were the best parts of the show. I mean, the best episodes for me were 3 and 4, especially 4 when they're in the Lucky Dragon restaurant and just hanging out and talking to one another. That's what Marvel does really well, is character interaction.
Yes, at least they had that here. And I agree, standouts, Charlie Cox, Kristen Ritter. Of course, the 4 of them are great, and this is what you have been waiting for, having watched the solo seasons. You're like, I can't wait to see these guys come together. And even though a lot of people thought the first 4 episodes, the fact that they didn't get together right away, I think that frustrated a lot of people. But I actually thought it was very organic. I thought like yourself, I loved see episode 3 and 4. Like I went back and I watched those again because the scenes in the restaurant are so great. And it would have been silly. It kind of would have been silly to do what I wanted, which by the end of the first episode, throw them all together. And they're all like, hey, yeah, we're all heroes. Let's all fight. Wouldn't have made sense. I like how we got to check in a little bit. And then the organic way everyone is led to Midland Circle or Midland Financial.
Midland Circle, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, when they get to Midland Circle and they have that fight now, it's the typical hallway fight that every Netflix show has now had.
Right.
It's not as good as the other one, as the Daredevil one.
No.
Not even close.
No.
But it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And seeing them all interact for the first time and get to Midland Circle, I thought that was all really well done. And Iron Fist finally in that boardroom had a pretty good fight scene, so I'll give him that.
There was a couple of good fight scenes. Let's talk about the fight scenes. I thought for the most part, the fight choreography was very good. Almost on par to Daredevil. You saw a lot of the same Daredevil things, but there was a couple that some of the editing was choppy, and then when we get to the nitpicks, I thought the fighting was way better than Iron Fist. And the one at the end where the camera's swooping around was great. The fight scene at the restaurant was great. But I really liked when Elektra and Matt fight. It's fucking brutal, dude. And you feel it emotionally and viscerally. So I thought they killed that in terms of the fight choreography.
I would disagree. I didn't think the last fight scenes were all that good. The 2 fight scenes that stood out for me were the one in Midland Circle, and then the one where the 3 of them are kicking Iron Fist's ass.
Oh, that's another great thing. Yes, he gets so much shit, and they all fucking kick the shit out of him.
Daredevil basically kicks his ass. I mean, I'll get to like nitpicks on power levels, but I enjoyed that they were kicking his ass.
Yeah, and that's interesting in the terms of, this wasn't a reaction to how people reacted to Iron Fist. This was actually their plan. Yeah. Because like the Netflix model is great, right? You can write the whole show, shoot the whole show, put it out at once. One drawback being by the time Iron Fist aired and they were starting to hear these criticisms of Danny Rand's character, they had already done fucking shooting the Defenders.
Yeah, I guess that's a gift. I mean, it's cool that they're able to plan everything out right away and shoot it the way they want to shoot it. But it's also a drawback because if the audience reacts negatively to something, you can't just go back and rewrite that script. It's already shot. It's already planned. Yeah, so they can't pivot as quickly as network TV shows can.
Yeah. So I mean, the one drawback of this model, but it's interesting. They kind of anticipated, or they kind of wanted Danny to be. Look. Let's talk about Danny Rand. I think he was finally the dorky, nerdy guy from the comics in the Defenders.
This is where we're going to disagree. I thought I
think it's an improvement.
I think he was better.
Yeah.
I still think his character is pretty much complete shit. But I'll get into that. I don't know if we should get into this now or if we should stay on the positive track.
Let's stay on the positive.
Okay. Danny Rand had a better fight scene. Danny, I will go on the Luke Cage schooling Danny Rand on the diversity in their upbringings and him taking out thugs and how he's been born with power his entire life and could have changed things from the top was great.
Yeah, that moment when they meet is really interesting.
Yeah,
where Luke is trying to save the kid and Danny's about to just beat the kid down.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, this guy, he's working for the White Hat. And Luke's like, dude, this is a kid from the hood. What are you doing? Like, it's so great.
That was great. Yeah, they have awesome chemistry.
And I like how you kind of see that they weren't like best friends right away. Like they're learning, like they really annoy, like Luke is really annoyed with Danny. He doesn't believe any of his shit, but slowly he takes the dumpling. They have laughs. They chuckle. You could see how they could be friends if they're building up to heroes for hire. I appreciated all of the character deaths, decapitations, loss of limbs. Very good. I don't know why. I was like, man, a lot of people got their head cut off.
Well, Misty Knight might get her bionic arm now.
Yes, that's a great Easter egg.
Geek boner.
Finally, sliced off by Bakudo, which
Bakudo.
we'll get into that a little bit. But look, good. They didn't pull punches, in terms of killing people, sometimes to their detriment. And we'll get to that.
I would also throw in, you mentioned Daredevil. I thought anytime Charlie Cox is on screen, I thought he was awesome. I think it seems like forever since we've seen him.
Yeah.
And he's great.
Yeah.
He again reminded me of why I like the Daredevil series so much. I loved how he was at first kind of like really reluctant and really like, no, I'm getting the fuck out of this. I'm not revealing anything. Like everything about what he did, I thought was great. His character motivation, him kind of carrying the cross of Elektra is my problem. I'm going to deal with it. I like that. I liked his interactions with Jessica Jones. I never thought that pairing would work. But
it makes sense, though.
But it does make sense. Yeah. And when they're tailing each other and playing that game, that was
good.
awesome.
The cat and mouse is so good.
I love Jessica Jones's kind of her whole attitude of, I don't really want to fucking be here. I don't even know what the fuck any of this is.
Yeah.
Her heart is still in the right place, and she always ends up doing the right thing, even though she doesn't really even want to be involved. I think that she's awesome. So I thought, like you mentioned, I thought Jessica Jones and Daredevil were the strongest parts of the show. I'll also throw in, I liked in the beginning mostly that they would have each character's kind of the background was kind of in their color. So Daredevil was red, Jessica Jones was blue, Luke Cage was yellow, Iron Fist was green, and they'd always have like that lighting kind of show them that's them. Basically,
dude, the lighting was so good on the show. Now, there are some scenes where it's just a little too dark for no reason.
I wouldn't say it's so good. I would say in the beginning it was good.
Because they toned that down. You're right. Like the first 4 or 5 episodes, they're heavy-handedly color coding everything.
Right.
Where you're like, okay, this is Marvel, this is Luke Cage, this is Daredevil. But I love when they get to the Chinese restaurant. In the restaurant is everyone's colors, kind of playing in and out of each other, complementing each other. Even the shots, if you look in the background, the lights are different on different sides when it's a 2-shot. The sign of the Chinese restaurant had all those colors in neon in the logo. And then, so they were really heavy-handed color coding for the first half, and they kind of like forgot about that towards the end, or they just let it go. But this was, I mean, I love, in the beginning, I thought it was great. I love, like, back to Matt Murdock. This is kind of like a Daredevil season 2.5, because it's a lot about him.
This is kind of a like and a dislike for me. So I really enjoyed Daredevil. And it seems like for me, the plot of this was like a mismatch of Daredevil and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I didn't like it because it didn't really feel like Luke Cage or Jessica Jones even really belonged there. And I didn't like it because Iron Fist is really shitty. And having that kind of this be his story really kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I do enjoy Daredevil's dynamic, and I do enjoy like Stick and Elektra somewhat in this, but I kind of like Daredevil having a lot of influence, and Daredevil being like the guy where Stick's like, no, you should be the leader, not Iron Fist. You're the guy.
Yeah, and Daredevil is the character that has the richest history in the comics, been around the longest. People know him the most. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I just thought it was a little weird that like you pick Iron Fist to be like the other focal point of this thing. And had they like waited till after Iron Fist aired, they probably might have changed it seeing that. But I think they pulled it off. In terms of, the MacGuffin at the end and the storyline and the plot. Jessica Jones's humor and lines are great. First of all, she is the character that, like you said, she's calling out everybody's shit. Anytime when he goes, we're called the Chase, she's like, Jesus with these names. And then the lines where she's like, does everybody know karate except for me? She is like the grounded reality. She's like, I don't have anything to do with the hand or whatever this is. You guys are crazy. But great lines like where
Iron Lad.
He's like, come on, Ironclad. She goes, it's Iron Fist. She goes, I know. And when he puts the scarf on, she's like, you look like an asshole. Yeah. He goes, it's your scarf. And then she goes, the scarf looked better. Nice ears. It's like their horns.
She's great. I mean, even the scene where she runs over Elektra with the car and jumps on the team, I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
That was a great re-entrance to the thing, and how Stick is kind of like the 5th Defender. Another great moment at the end when like Matt shows up in the costume and she fucking rolls her eyes. She's like, there it is again. We're talking about the costume.
I thought that was good. I liked Colleen Wing kind of having a little agency and not just sitting around, but actually getting involved in the fight and actively doing things and coming up with the idea on how to destroy the hand, although we'll get to why I think that was shitty later. But
well, they really pushed the Daughters of the Dragon thing.
Yeah, they were pushing. They're really hinting at the Daughters of the Dragon thing. I think
at the end. Yeah,
I believe that Misty Knight will be in the next Iron Fist.
Okay. Yes.
Although, in my opinion, I think they should just scrap Iron Fist and Luke Cage and just go with Heroes for Hire. But that's just my opinion.
Agree, and we'll talk about that when we talk about what's next for it, because at the end they kind of set up pieces for what's coming forward. What else did we like?
I really like I know some people on the internet were bagging on the intro. I actually thought the intro was really epic and really well done.
That's interesting. You know how I always love these intros.
You didn't like this one. It was very generic.
Did nothing for me.
See, I watched it and I was like, man, this makes me pumped for the show. Like, this is the epic intro of the Defenders.
I watched it every time, and it was just like the music's okay, and it's just like it's color coded. It really did nothing. I still think the Daredevil one is the best.
The Daredevil one's the best one. Yeah,
out of all of them. But yeah, that's interesting because I didn't even pull like the opening music to play like I usually do because it felt a little generic. Felt a little bit generic to me.
Yeah.
How about the fact that no one could have guessed what was in that hole? I don't know if this is a like or a dislike, but
well, if you're trying to say that it was a complete mystery that no one, like you said, I guess they did a good job of making it a mystery.
But then it just ends up kind of weird and silly a little bit. But that was crazy.
I really got nothing left for the good stuff.
Okay.
You can keep going if you want.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. It was entertaining.
I would say I would highlight it with character interactions were really good. There were a couple good fight scenes, and it was nice seeing all these characters kind of interact. And there is a lot of potential for a better Defenders, in my opinion, if they had better writing.
Yeah, I mean it was an easy watch, entertaining, but almost too easy, breezy, empty.
Let's just get into the show, the nitpicks or the what we didn't like.
Before we do that, though, we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna play some promos of some of our pod friends on the Podosphere. Check out these shows, listener, and we will return with the rest of our review. What we didn't like about the Defenders on Netflix.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Pappas.
And I'm Julie Ken.
And we are the host of the Meddling Kids podcast, a review of all things Scooby-Doo.
We are going through every episode in the Scooby-Doo canon to explain all the questions you meddling kids have.
Right, exactly. Like, is Fred a serial killer? How old is Fred exactly?
Why does Daphne have such bad posture?
Where do these kids live? And is pot legal there?
Where is this place? I think it's Florida. Anyway, stick with us for the Meddling Kids podcast, a groovy review of all things Scooby-Doo.
My name is Carrie Sims, and I host Sketching Comedy with my artist friends, Imran Javed.
Hey, that's me.
And Phil Rude each week live on YouTube. Hang out with us as I learn and discuss the legends of comic book art and comedians, while the fellows are creating live drawings during the show. I learned Jack Kirby most closely identified with his creation of the Thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Carrie. He was an old-school tough guy, and it's because he was in a street gang in New York.
Visit BlazingCaribouStudio.com or tune in each week on our YouTube channel and download the podcast at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever podcasts are found.
Catch you later.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Blake from the History of Bad Ideas. And we'll get back to your regularly scheduled program here in just a second, geek listeners. But we do a weekly podcast called The History of Bad Ideas.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss things like television or movies or music or games or any other thing that falls into our geek-related podcast knowledge.
You can find us on Geek Life Radio, Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, or Radio-Blitz Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, or you can listen to us whenever the hell you want on iTunes and Stitcher.
Check us out. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
All right, listener, before we get back to talking about The Defenders on Netflix, I want you to check out our fan club over on the Patreon. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon if you want more show, and if you love this show.
And more blow.
And more. Wait, there's more blow over there? Was that one of the tier rewards?
I don't know.
You must have edited that in. That's not legal. But who doesn't like more blow and more show? But if you're enjoying the show and you want to help out, you want to give back, you've been listening for a while, visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where for a low monthly pledge or a high monthly pledge, there's a bunch of tiers with different rewards. You can help out the show keep going and get bonus content. You'll get a whole exclusive podcast feed with bonus content that we're adding to all the time. It's value for value, listener. Pretty much just think about if this show stopped today, if this was the last show, what's it worth to you for us to keep going? $1 a month? That's not a lot. More? Great. And then just like Joe Henry, you give us $20 a month, you can come out and hang out. You heard how much fun he had last episode. And we thank everyone that's on the Patreon. So go check it out. All right. Now, what didn't work in Marvel's The Defenders? And I'm surprised that I think we're going to have more. I wish this was better. I really wanted to like this, but I think we're going to have more things that we thought didn't work.
I definitely do.
That did work. Because I'm like, that's all that, yeah. And the other things may show up, may come up, but where are we going to start? Sigourney Weaver? You want to start with Sigourney Weaver?
Let me just overview something about Marvel.
Yeah.
Or about the Netflix that I think it was kind of exposed, not only in this show, but it's been kind of leading up to this point. So Marvel Studios, headed up by Kevin Feige, they've had a plan. They've gone through their bumps, but they've had a plan and they've stuck to it, and everything seems pretty seamlessly connected, and all the movies kind of serve a purpose, other than maybe like Iron Man 2 or something like that. But they've all kind of, everything's been laid out, and it definitely seems like there's a direction and they have their shit together. I think Jeff Loeb, who's heading up Marvel TV, and whoever he's reporting to, like Perlmutter, whoever.
And Perlmutter is still involved on this TV side, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. On the creative team that's there. I think they put all their resources into Daredevil, and they announced all this shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think they actually had it thoroughly planned out how they were going to interweave all these shows and characters together. And I think this series really exposes that.
Yeah.
Because it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Yet it feels too long.
Yeah.
And too short at the same goddamn time. And what I mean by that is it's too long in that the show starts out slow as fuck.
Right.
Doesn't get the characters really together until the 3rd or 4th episode, and doesn't really have much going in terms of the plot to keep me interested for 8 episodes. But it's also too short because they introduce 3 new villains that we've never met before.
Yes.
And get no fucking backstory, really, and are basically cannon fodder.
Yeah, and they kill all of them.
And I don't know, and I'm not terrified by any of them. So, too long and too short. I feel like they really didn't have this planned out, and they were like, well, Iron Fist has all this like mystical shit, so we'll go with that. And we've the Hand, that's kind of big, so we'll throw that in. So, but then Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, how are they going to fit in?
What are they going to be doing?
Well, they'll investigate something, and it'll work. It'll work, and it doesn't work. No, in my opinion, the plot was quite bad, and it wasn't very interesting at all.
I'll agree. Also, some of the dialogue, not the greatest, but you are right in that they have said that when they wrote the hole in Daredevil 2, they didn't know what was at the bottom of the hole at that point. It wasn't until they did all the shows and got to Defenders that they were like, what should we put in the hole now?
Well, that's the thing. They really didn't know.
Yeah.
And there's an interview with one of the showrunners, Marco Ramirez, where he basically admits that the showrunners from each show don't talk to one another.
Yes.
So you can see that because Luke Cage ends with him going to prison, and instead of like exploring that, they have to get him out of prison right away.
Yeah, he just comes out
so
of
he
prison.
just comes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jessica Jones has really no role in any of this. She's just there. Like, it's not so, and they didn't really have, this cohesiveness of we're leading to the Hand. It was like, okay, the Iron Fist is leading to the Hand, and that seems like a huge threat, so we'll need everybody.
Worst Hand ever.
Oh, and that's another, okay, I got to get into my Hand spiel.
Good, do it. Rant.
The Hand in Daredevil season 2 in the hospital was intimidating as fuck.
Yes.
The ninjas climbing up the walls, the undead children.
Yeah.
All that shit was fucking creepy.
Yeah.
But ever since that point, the Hand has been fucking terrible.
Even by the end of Daredevil season 2, they got kind of shitty.
They got real shitty. I mean, by the end of Daredevil season 2, what's his name? Daredevil and Elodie Young, Elektra and Punisher are just mowing them down.
Yeah.
Like, these are supposed to be fucking undead ninjas.
Yeah, what happened to all that?
And all that ninja stuff just went away. And now the Hand, well, the Hand got worse once they introduced them. They kind of moved them into Iron Fist's plot in the show Iron Fist, because Iron Fist was lame as fuck, and the Hand became all of a sudden this like college campus of kids.
Oh yeah,
which was kind of interesting, but not really.
That's right. There was the different factions of the Hand.
Yeah, and now they got to the Hand, and at this point now, the Hand is just not interesting. And and that's really, I mean, one of the big things for Marvel's Netflix shows is their villains have been awesome, and they totally made Madame Gao in Iron Fist. They totally defanged her. She's no longer intimidating.
Yeah.
And the Hand as an organization is now not a bunch of undead ninjas, but more of just thugs and goons.
Yeah.
What happened to the undead ninjas?
What happened to all the cool ninjas? Why are they just look like dudes.
They're
like
just regular people getting mowed down.
And they got guns and they got batons and like, where's the ninjas
like
now?
If they were that shadowy organization that kind of like, right, and like they would tease it like, oh, they took down Chernobyl and they took down Pompeii.
Yeah.
But that really wasn't.
They did that twice.
It wasn't really the thing.
I mean, I like that one line where, Luke is like, are they terrorists? And Matt's like, no, terrorists want you to know what they do. These guys are more secret and evil, but they're not really that evil and not that secret. Look, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
In the trailers, when they casted her, we were all so excited because she's an amazing actress. She adds such a gravitas, a weight, a legitimacy to this. And I heard your instant reaction on the Patreon, where you said you didn't even like the stuff she had. I kind of like that she didn't play Alexandra like over the top. It was a very subdued, quietly intenseful performance. I like that they're hinting at her that she's dying, that she's really, really old. But then, why? Why all this detail when you just fucking kill her halfway through and it amounts to nothing? What a waste.
Yeah, they kill her in episode 6. They learned absolutely nothing from building up a villain and killing them midway through, like when they did that with Cottonmouth.
Yes.
I think Sigourney Weaver, the Hand and the villains and the plot are some of the are the biggest reasons why for me this show kind of falls apart. Sigourney Weaver is completely wasted.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
She is not menacing.
No. Well, yeah.
In my opinion, she is not menacing. She is given very shoddy motivation in what she's even doing. They're fighting for life, but so she wants the substance, but whatever. Her motivation, it's unclear what they're even going for, and they're doing this slow build throughout the entire show, and we'll get to that. I'm gonna segue. Stop from there real quick.
Yeah.
But Sigourney Weaver is completely wasted. It felt like to me she sleepwalked through the role because she knew that she was getting killed in episode 6.
Yeah, I mean,
what is intimidating about her? She doesn't do anything.
No, she just kind of walks around, and
all she is old and is having a ton of fine dining.
She's dining. She's dying. She's got to take her pills. The motherly, I kind of like the motherly connection with Elektra. the only thing she did was bring Elektra back. And that whole scene where Elektra comes out and it's all like slippery and slidey, and then they embrace, and she teaches her how to talk and brings her back to life. Like, that's really the only substance stuff she did.
Wasn't Sigourney Weaver, and we didn't know that she was that actress,
yeah,
it'd be the worst villain ever.
Oh my God, it would be way horrible. Sigourney Weaver pulls it off and saves the like horrible dialogue.
Well, she doesn't. I don't think. I think she's just there. It's just the fact that you're like, wow, that's Sigourney Weaver on a Netflix show.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that makes me interested.
I mean, I dug the she didn't go over the top villain, but. What the fuck?
They gave
what
her nothing
was it
to
for?
do. She wasn't doing anything.
They gave a lot of people nothing to do, which was surprising in terms of how big this fucking cast was.
Well, and so I mean, yeah. So let's go into so they have the 5 fingers of the hand.
Yes,
very cool in theory. Alexandra, Madame Gao, Bakudo, what's his name? Sawande, and Murakami. But Alexandra, as we've established,
killed by Elektra.
Terrible. Wasn't done very well.
No.
Murakami is supposed to be Nobu, even bigger than Nobu.
Yeah, I did not get that at all.
Didn't get that at all. He got his ass kicked every time he fought.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way Stick talked about him before, he's like, when he gets involved, that's an evil piece of shit. I was expecting some fucking badass, and then I got confused later. I was like, wait, is this the guy Stick was talking about? This guy doesn't do it. He's carving up a wolf, which I didn't understand. What was that when she goes to beat him? But
Murakami's terrible. Sawande was very charismatic.
Yeah.
But you get a scene with him where he's fighting Luke Cage, and he's like, you're unbreakable or whatever, and he's like hitting him in pressure points.
Right.
Which I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. He's like this guy that knows where to fucking hit this guy and like kick his ass. Although it still doesn't make sense to me that in the first season of Luke Cage, people were punching him and breaking their hands, but now people are punching him and it's not breaking. I don't really understand what's going on there. That's another nitpick I got going. But so we have this fight where they're fighting, and then the next thing you know, Luke Cage takes him prisoner, and it's something that happens off screen. It's like, what?
Yeah, what? So that made no sense. I was like, what the fuck? You just skipped ahead to this. They're fighting on the street. Cage gets hit by a garbage truck.
Yeah.
And then like Sawande gets in a car and takes off. What happened?
And then the next scene, there's like, well, I got him.
Cage shows up and he's like, I got something. And it's fucking Sawande, who also decapitated.
Yeah, I mean, they could. That's another more evidence of them not really knowing what was going on or how they were going to get this all to come together or coalesce, because they should have introduced like Murakami and like Daredevil.
Yeah.
They should have maybe introduced like Sawande and Luke Cage.
Yes.
Like introduced all the at least hinted at.
Yeah,
like at least all these characters and then bring them all together.
Yeah.
And like Madame Gao was so awesome in the first season of Daredevil. And then now she was in the first season, it was like implied that she was wearing the triads, but now it was like she's been a part of the hand the entire time, which when you think about it, doesn't really make sense. Like, why is her and Nobu running the hand and reporting to Fisk? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
And she's like, all of a sudden, after Iron Fist, where she was in jail, basically, she's not that like interesting anymore. She's not that intimidating, and her power set is really weird. She's just pushing people.
She does the force push. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what? So like, that's where I'm talking about where the show was almost too short, because these villains needed time to develop. You never really got the fact that these were like the baddest of the bad. Like, these are the 5 fingers of the hand. These are supposed to be the most fucking evil, diabolical people ever, but the show's not long enough to even demonstrate that.
It is weird. You're absolutely right. Like, it's too long and too short, and it's just a very strange end result because...
Oh, and Bakudo is absolutely
Well, I was going to say, nobody likes Bakudo. People were so pissed when they saw Bakudo was back.
Terrible.
Of course, nobody dies. He gets beheaded by Colleen Wing, but these people could come back. We don't know.
I think if they cut off their heads, they're done.
They're really done.
Yeah, but Bakudo is terrible. I mean, the only person that's any good is Madame Gao, but she's not even that great because she's been defanged.
And what happened at the end? Did she die?
The building fell on her.
But I think she'll get out.
Maybe. I mean,
she may survive. She's the only one that may have survived.
The fucking Matt Murdock got out of a building falling on him. But here's another thing that was really fucking bad about this show. You never really know until the end what they're even the plan is.
Well, that was my question, is what was the fucking hand doing? The whole thing is so vague. There's so many vagaries in the second half of this show.
In the first half.
In all of it. You just don't know.
And it's not that interesting once you find out.
So they wanted immortality, and they explained the hand. They explained that the chase was the army of Kunlun to find the hand. But in explaining everything, it just kind of demystifies everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's all right, I guess.
It's not even really like comic book canon. It's like they combined Kunlun and the hand, which are kind of two different things. And now they made it so the hand, like at first it was like the hand is going to destroy New York City. And I was like, wow, okay. Like that, it's not like all that revolutionary, but why are they?
At least there's some stakes.
Yeah, like are they destroying New York City because they want to cleanse it? Like sort of like, it's sinned so much it needs to be reborn.
Burn
or
it
like,
down.
What's the motivation?
Like
they have the tremors, and then it's slowly it's be like, well, they need to get into Kunlun and they need the Iron Fist. Like, oh,
what?
Okay, so. Yeah, so I was like, so there's a portal underneath New York?
Yeah.
Okay, how does that destroy New York?
A door.
And then it's like, well, no, they need the substance. It's like, oh, wait, what? The substance? What is that? It keeps them alive. Oh,
Yes.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. I guess they want to stay immortal. Okay, wait, why did they run out of the substance? Oh, they used it on the Black Sky. Oh, I remember the Black Sky. Wait, what the fuck's a Black Sky? What is that even? Like, what? Why did you use it all on her? What's she gonna do? Okay, all right. So then you needed it for the Black Sky. Oh, okay. It's for the dragon bones. Oh, okay. So it's another version of like Shao Lao. But
Is it Shao Lao? Is it a different dragon?
I guess it's implied that there's a bunch of Shao Laos all around the earth.
Or they regenerate or come back to life, or
I think there's a bunch of dragons buried underneath. And now it's like, oh no, they're there to mine bones.
They just wanted dragon bone marrow. That's all they wanted.
What?
Yeah.
This is so late, and then I'm like, wait. So if they mine the bones,
then what?
New York City falls,
and then that's how they kill New York, and the building is going to drop.
It's not that they want to kill New York. It's just a byproduct of them
because it'll collapse.
Because wait, New York's foundation is on dragon bones.
Yeah. What was the tremor? Anyways, like what was the point of that?
Well, I think the tremor was they were trying to explode the wall.
Oh, and it didn't.
But it didn't work because they needed the Iron Fist. But it was like, wait, so New York is going to crumble because
there's a fucking dragon down there?
Because there's a dragon down there? And
being held up by
how big is this dragon? Yeah.
He seemed pretty big. I did like how it was kind of like laid down like Iron Fist's tattoo. Like in the same
that was,
position, but it was this, it's dragon bone marrow. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I could never have guessed that this was it. And there's a reason why. It's because y'all just fucking came up with it the last second.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be dragon bones.
I thought that was awful. Okay, and now, you got any nitpicks or should I just keep ranting?
No, I mean, I have a bunch. Here's what I didn't like in terms of pacing. Like we said, it started slow, but it was okay. It was organic. They get together. They meet after the whole, like, Midland Circle fight. Like, it should have just kept going. But then they like break apart again, and then Danny Rand is tied to a chair for a whole episode, and then that motivation I didn't understand. I liked the scene where they fought, but the reason why they fought was so forced. Like I was like, he's like, they were just like, we can't let him get to the hand, and he wanted to go face the hand, and we're like, we're gonna have to stop you. I'm like, really? None of this makes sense. And they tie him up, and then it slows down again. A lot of the side characters didn't really have much to do. They were just kind of slowing things down.
Yeah.
I didn't know why they had to be included. Couple of things that bothered me about the team. They have no variety of powers.
Yep, that's a big one.
And it makes it not as fun or interesting to watch. Because Luke Cage, what does he do? He punches people, picks them up, throws them to the ground. Jessica Jones, what does she do? She punches people, picks them up, throws them to the ground. Daredevil, he's a fighter, which pretty much amounts to him kicking and punching people. And then Iron Fist, by nature of his power, has to punch people.
Yeah, that was huge because that's where I really disagreed with you in that last scene where they're fighting everybody.
Yeah.
First off, I thought it was poorly shot.
Oh, you know,
I also thought this show actually, for the first time on Netflix, looked really cheap. I felt like there was a lot of sets.
Yes.
But the big thing that I didn't really like is what you just brought up. There's nothing dynamic about the way they're fighting.
Yes.
Because Marvel Studios has done well and has the budget to do is everybody's got their gimmick.
Yeah.
Captain America has his shield. He fights, with his shield, and he's very acrobatic. Iron Man flies around. Hulk is gigantic. Thor has thunder. Even like the characters where we make fun of them, like Black Widow, like why are they on the team? But Hawkeye has bows and arrows.
Yeah.
Black Widow has her guns. She's the only one with guns. So she's also a girl.
Yeah.
So it's all
different. Yeah.
It's all different.
Yeah.
It makes the action very dynamic.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things happening.
They
There's
can
lots
play
of
off
different
each other.
Right. There's the easier way. What you just pointed out is exactly right. Daredevil and Iron Fist are the two ninjas.
Yeah.
Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are the two heavies.
Yeah.
They all have to punch. They all do the same thing.
They all do the same thing.
There is nothing exciting about seeing four people do the same thing.
No, it was a little annoying. I was like, oh, they're just all doing the same thing.
There wasn't enough creativity for them to like bounce off of one another. Like you didn't see Luke Cage like pick up Iron Fist and like launch him at someone.
Or
throw Daredevil. Or you didn't see Jessica Jones like fly, jump up in the air and drop some like Luke Cage as like a bomb on. Like I'm already coming up with stuff where they could have done.
She didn't fly once. We forget Jessica can like jump really high.
She did fly once. It's implied that when Matt Murdock was tailing her, she did a hyper jump.
Oh, that's how she
jumped behind him.
That's how she got away. I see. Yeah, but they didn't show it.
They didn't show it. It's very understated with Jessica Jones, which is on purpose for her show, but for this, there wasn't enough. And it's like every time the villains pull out guns, they only seem to shoot at Luke Cage.
That's right. They're like, how about you shoot at the guy who's not bulletproof, you assholes?
It's like, what?
Cage just stands there, take the bullets. Everyone's just shooting at him.
Everyone knows that he's bulletproof.
They keep going.
But they keep shooting at him.
Plus, they needed, Danny alive. So there was a lot of that. That was just annoying. So because of that, what should have ended up having the same feeling as you got when you watched The Avengers, instead, this reminded me more of like the CW crossover show where people just kind of run into each other.
Yeah.
Because Luke and Jessica, they were just around to punch things. Like they had no stakes really.
They really had nothing to do with any of this.
It's really about Daredevil and him being still obsessed with Elektra and even that a little bit annoyed me. That he's still trying to get her.
Well, I think
back.
it's not. I don't think it was that it was annoying for me. I think it was the fact that we just saw this.
They've done that
in the prior episodes.
Yeah,
in the prior seasons.
Yeah,
and they took the whole basis of the plot is really an Iron Fist story.
Yeah,
and I know that they didn't realize how badly Iron Fist was going to be received, but Iron Fist was received really badly, and to make it basically his story.
I was
and
so
him
surprised.
As the MacGuffin is really bad.
I was so surprised.
Which gets me into one of my next points.
Let's go.
Although Iron Fist was better, he would take one step forward and two steps back as a character. He is still a thundering dumbass.
Yeah.
I've got 3 examples. Number 1, he is supposed to be protecting Kunlun. At the end of Iron Fist, he realizes that Kunlun is not there.
Yeah.
So the show opens with him in a fight scene, which is not great.
Yeah.
Again, they start the show with Iron Fist. Awesome.
Yeah.
The worst character in all of the show. And he's in Cambodia.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
He's chasing something. Elektra kills the guy, and he still has absolutely no clue what the fuck he's doing.
No.
In the show. As it starts out, he has no idea where the hand is. Someone tells him it's in New York. He's like, "Oh shit, I got to go back to New York." But this is the protector of Kunlun and the sworn enemy of the hand, and he has absolutely no clue what the fuck he's doing.
Okay.
All right. Number 2.
Yeah.
Luke Cage is like, "Hey man, you got a lot of power. You can take this fight to the top." Oh, okay. So fucking Iron Fist is like, "All right, yeah. I do have a lot of power. I could fight them in a different way. I could fight them at the top. All right, so I'm going to find out where all these shadow organizations are. I'm going to find out where they're staying. All right, cool. Instead of like suing them or like using like his corporate, his cash, or
he just walks in there.
He just walks in and goes, "I'm going to kick all of your asses."
Yeah,
because I'm the Iron Fist, and I am the sworn protector of Kunlun, and I am the
I'm the
sworn
Iron
enemy in
Fist.
the hand.
Yes.
And it is my destiny to do this. So he handles it in the fucking stupidest way possible once again.
Yeah.
Now, I know he's supposed to be like this man-child, and
Yeah.
he's never really grown up.
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, it is accurate to how a man-child would play things, but it's not very likable. Last,
Okay.
Iron Fist is fighting Elektra.
Yeah.
Elektra tells him, you are the key to opening this wall.
Yes.
I need your chi to open this wall.
What does he do?
So instead of kicking Elektra's ass
Yeah.
without using his Iron Fist, because he is supposedly the best fucking martial artist in the world, he doesn't really need his Iron Fist to do that.
No.
He powers up his Iron Fist, throws a punch at her while she's in front of the wall.
Right in front of the wall, you
And
dummy.
he misses and hits the wall.
Well,
Then-
see, yeah, she
and then
guides
she
him
uses his hand and guides him to open up
into
the fucking wall.
Yes.
Are you serious?
No, I'm wondering, is this on
Is it
purpose?
supposed to be? Is this on purpose now?
This guy is just an idiot. This is his character. He's the worst Iron Fist. Plus, he really has the worst power. It's unfucking reliable. He's the only one that you don't know when it's going to power up. He can't really control it. It comes and goes whenever it pleases. Like, what? He's useless.
When he punches the wall with his Iron Fist,
Yeah.
I almost was like, this is a joke.
Are you serious?
Are you serious?
That's how he opened the fucking door.
She just told you
Yes, why
that
would
you are
you
the
light
key
up?
to opening the door and that it would be your fist. And you light up your fist and you miss like a fucking idiot and open the door.
I'm wondering if he's supposed to be written to be an
I don't
idiot.
know. It wouldn't surprise me at this point because I can't believe they've written him this badly.
I mean, there's nowhere to go.
And
but
Finn Jones,
up
I'm
for him.
sorry, but Finn Jones, unlike Mike Coulter or Kristen Ritter or Charlie Cox, does not have the charisma to pull off this guy. To make this guy.
I mean,
likable.
like I said, I thought it was a little bit better because of his material, because he was a little more, goofy and dorky. But yeah, he's a fucking idiot. And again, he does that like in the Midland Circle fight scene when they shoot the darts at him. He does that little side stutter step to avoid the darts, and it looks fucking ridiculous.
He has some goofy fucking
He does
scenes.
that a lot. Yeah.
He has some goofy scenes. And there's one scene where when Joe from work pointed this out to me, but rewatch this. When Elektra takes him out and carries him on her back.
Yeah.
If you look at his hands, they're like little chub hands. Like you get such a fucking cheap doll. It's unreal.
Oh, it's a dummy. Oh no. Oh, that brings up another nitpick. So the last couple of series, every series has a prop that is so fucking laughably horrible that it sticks out. In Luke Cage, his fake beard when he's in the prison, so bad. In Iron Fist, the worst fucking fake snow I've ever seen. In this show, fucking Stick's chopped off hand bothered me so much because it was as long as his other hand and it just looked like he was holding like a piece of plastic in his hand, and it was really bad.
There's a scene where they're getting on the elevator to go down in the tunnel.
Oh yeah.
And it's so badly chroma keyed and green screen that you would think it was like from the 90s.
What in the elevator?
Yeah, there's a shot where it's behind their backs.
Oh, I didn't
they're
notice
about to walk into an elevator.
Yeah.
On the elevator, and it's so bad. It's so bad.
I didn't even notice that.
But here's another thing. Marvel Studios is really good about power levels, and this character is this powerful, this character is this powerful. Very consistent on what goes on, except with Cap's shield. His shield never has any consistency, but I think that's kind of
that's a good point.
Even Spider-Man's like that doesn't obey the law of physics at all.
That's not how it would work.
Yeah, but in this show, so if I'm kind of correct here, Luke Cage is probably the most powerful.
I think about his power set all the time because it confuses me.
It confuses the fuck out of me because he is bulletproof,
right?
His iron skin, and he's strong as fuck. I would say Jessica Jones is next in terms of she's strong as fuck too. Not as.
Some people have said that she's stronger than
she
Luke.
might be.
Yeah,
she's not impenetrable.
Right.
And then you got Iron Fist with his fist, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
But then he's just a normal guy, and Daredevil. So you have them all at like different power levels. Then you have Elektra come in, And I don't know if she's like now Winter Soldiered.
I guess so remember in Iron Fist when Ward's dad came back to life?
Yeah.
And he was stronger?
Yeah.
And immortal? I feel like when you are resurrected by the hand, you get a lot stronger.
Okay. So if she's a lot stronger, she is now
She was fucking taking down Luke Cage.
She was able to punch Luke Cage and kick Luke Cage and knock him out.
Yeah.
So she is that strong, right? But then if she is that strong, one punch from her should kill Matt and should kill Finn Jones. It should kill Iron Fist.
Yes.
And there was a lot of those inconsistencies where, like, Sawande or whatever his name is, or Murakami are fighting and punching Luke Cage, and he's like taking it.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, if a normal person punched him, they'd break their hand.
That's a good point, because that's what we saw.
So so if you're able to hurt Luke Cage, and then punch Daredevil should be dead.
Yes.
So there was a lot of inconsistencies in terms of how powerful any of these characters really even are.
I did love when Danny punched Luke in the head, though. That was great.
That was awesome, yeah.
And then later on, he's like, some dude clocked me, a guy with a glowing fist. And Claire's like,
He's
wait,
skinny.
what? Skinny white guy? And she's like, all right, you got to meet someone.
Well, and then, like, the fight scene at the end where it's like Bakudo, Murakami, and Gao versus Luke Cage.
This is I did not like this fight
Luke
scene
Cage,
at
Jessica
all.
Jones,
with
and
the cinder blocks.
Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
First off, so I thought Murakami was like one of the deadliest motherfuckers on the world.
Right.
Now Daredevil's taking on not only Murakami and Bakudo at the same damn time.
Yes.
Well, Madame Gao's like throwing like her waves at people.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's got going on. But then they're cutting this with like Danny Rand fighting Elektra, and I thought it was terribly cut. I couldn't understand what was going on.
Exactly. That fight, first of all, the shot was so tight. All the shots was so cropped, and the editing was so choppy. I could not follow. I thought it was a really bad decision for them to cut from the fight down in the tunnel and up there.
That was a bad decision.
It did not flow. Show me that one, and then show me that one. These two fights have nothing to do with each other, and you're just confusing everybody.
Yeah, and I get they were trying to make this like it's 4-on-4. Like these are the baddest motherfuckers fighting the awesome heroes, but it was cut badly.
Yeah,
and I just don't understand the decisions in making Daredevil take on two of them at the same time.
Yeah,
and then the other two are fighting Madame Gao, and it's like I don't think these villains are all that powerful at all.
No,
like it wasn't this epic. It should have been this epic scene.
Yeah,
and instead they're fighting in a parking garage, and it's badly cut and badly lit.
I mean, I agree. Like Elektra would punch Jessica Jones, send her flying.
Yeah,
and then she would turn around and fight Matt, and nothing happens.
Right.
So this is the other thing I wondered about Luke. Like for some reason, I keep thinking about Luke Cage. So his skin is impenetrable, bulletproof. But what about the organs? What about the bones? Wouldn't those break? Like, sure, you punch someone hard enough, you're not going to break the skin, but what about the shit inside? Is that also invulnerable or what?
No, he's not invulnerable, and that's why the poison can get to him. But Luke Cage is like, his power set for me is he's almost too powerful.
Yeah.
Like him walking around with them is like, this is just unfair.
Yeah.
Like, every time I just never thought like he was ever threatened.
No.
Like, and I think it's just part of his dynamic in the group is I don't think he'll ever feel like he's threatened. Like at least with Hulk, like if you turn him into Banner, you can kill him.
Right.
Whereas Luke Cage, it's like, well, and that, like no one.
I like
only
the smoke
Stick is the only guy. Yeah, Stick's the only guy that's ever even thought about poisoning him.
Well, no, but who set off that smoke bomb that took him out for
Stick.
a while? Oh, that was Stick because he was
wanted
gonna
to kill Danny.
He was gonna kill. Yeah, he was gonna kill Danny, and then he gets killed. Man, a lot of people got killed.
I also didn't like that the like train track cutscenes, like where they would use the train.
The transition. I was wondering what you thought about the transitions. It was a little cheesy, a little like 70s TV show.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. That's a good. I couldn't put my finger on it, but that's a good.
It's campy almost.
It was
pulpy.
almost campy, like, and like I don't know. It was like so abrupt, and it was like it felt lazy.
It was the scene transitions. It was kind of their thing. And in the beginning, I thought it was even more hilarious. Every time they go to Luke, it'd be like, okay, hip hop music, everything's yellow. I was like, really, guys? But I love they use Run the Jewels. They had a great Wu-Tang song, and which is why I kind of like that fight when the Wu-Tang song started coming in.
Oh, you liked it at the end?
Well, I like when Elektra showed up. I don't know. I thought it was Because I was waiting for where's the big fucking fight scene, and I was like, I guess this is it. And it was one shot, so I appreciated the choreography where the camera's just turning, and it wasn't like the fight we had just seen, which was real close and real cutty, and I couldn't tell what was going on. They let this one breathe a little bit, and there's people running around and being grabbed and tossed. It was, I mean, if that was... I hated that, and I hated... it should have been more. It should have been bigger.
I hated that hip-hop song choice. What was it?
Really?
Run the Jewels or Wu-Tang?
No, it was Wu-Tang at the end, where there's even a Spider-Man line in there.
I hate it. The lyrics might be like what they're going for, but the whole it was so
out of nowhere. Yeah, it comes out of nowhere.
So weird.
Yes.
What the hell? Why are you...
All of a sudden, they're like, oh, wait, Luke Cage is in there, play some hip-hop.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is supposed to be fun. And I was like, what is going on? Which brings me to my next point.
Okay.
Like, the whole, like, the show was really campy, almost.
Yeah.
To a point. These are supposed to be street-level heroes, right?
Yeah.
So their plan, it makes sense, but their plan is basically domestic terrorism. They're going to blow up a goddamn skyscraper.
Well, I have nitpicks about that,
in the middle of New York.
Yeah.
First off...
Nobody's going to notice.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I thought these were street-level heroes. Why are you blowing up a fucking skyscraper?
Yeah.
Like, why is that the plan? Secondly, they do it.
Yeah.
They all get off scot-free. Are you fucking kidding me? There's not a goddamn lawyer on earth that's going to be able to get them off scot-free when they've escaped from jail, obstructed the scene of a crime, and now have blown up a goddamn building.
If you look at it from law enforcement's point of view, they know nothing about the secret hand or the dragon bones or what was going on. All you see is these three dudes running out
of a building that just blew up, and that one of the heroes stole C4 for him.
Well, that's where the Misty Knight kind of comes in. Okay, I have so many nitpicks. Hold on. First of all, the building dropping, they were like right there, and there was definitely not enough debris and smoke for a building
Why are they
to drop.
that close?
They're literally just standing right down the block, and none of them are covered in ash. Nobody feels any. I'm like, you need way more smoke. The building just drops down, fine, but it would have sent plumes of smoke to surrounding blocks. I guess they didn't have the money to do that. Secondly, Misty Knight, Simone Missick, great on the show. I liked them that they actually had the law enforcement's point of view of vigilantes, constantly reminding you, you guys can't just do this. You're vigilantes, but fucking Misty Knight annoyed the shit out of me the whole time until the end, because every time she showed up, all it was, you guys gonna answer some questions? You're gonna answer some questions now? We know everything. Right. She doesn't know what we know, and and it's just annoying. And all they kept doing was, "You got to answer some questions. Time to answer some questions." Okay, that's it. And until the end, where she gets useful and gets her arm chopped off. What the fuck was she doing? She wasn't doing anything.
I like her as a character.
Yeah,
I like her, the actress.
Yes.
I think the way they write her character, she is the worst cop in all of New York.
Yes.
Because in Luke Cage, she is the one that gets the witness killed.
She's so trusting.
Well, she gets that witness killed.
Right.
Okay. In this season, every time she puts her ass on the line for these heroes, they make her look bad. Every fucking time.
Yep. And why does she continue to trust them and go with it and cover for them?
It's unreal. I got another little nitpick.
Yeah.
Before they're blowing up the building and they're in that elevator.
Yeah.
And they throw Murakami out of the elevator.
Yeah.
The CGI on that is so bad.
That's a really bad fall down.
It reminded me of Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yes.
What's his name? Rickman. Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman as
falls.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
I mean,
it was so bad.
They had late 80s green screen fucking technology on Defenders. Absolutely.
That's why I'm saying the show looked cheap.
I did love the moment, though, where Jessica's holding up the fucking elevator and she kind of saves them.
That was whatever.
I was like, oh, shit. But, the sets look cheap. The bones... Wait, I had so many more things. This isn't really a nitpick, but I just think this is fucking hilarious. Think of all the fucking women Luke Cage has banged on this show. And they were all there. Like, how awkward is that? He's in a room with Jessica Jones, Misty Knight, and fucking Claire Temple. He's banged them all. Smooth. I mean, he's a handsome motherfucker. He's a smooth motherfucker. And then even at the end, Jessica's like, maybe we'll get some coffee. And then look on his face where he's like, Wait, is that what it means? What I think it means? And then he just leaves. That's great.
I like that they were flirting a lot. I like their dynamic. I like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
I kind of want them to get back together again.
I think. Well, I mean, that's I think what they're going for.
But he's with Claire.
I know he's a little.
But he
player,
can really fuck the shit out of Jessica, and not have to worry about holding back.
Yeah, he can. I got another little nitpick.
Okay, go.
When they're all, I thought it really worked when the Daredevil was wearing the scarf.
Yes.
I thought that really worked. Yeah. But when they're all together and Daredevil is the only guy in costume,
it's still a little silly.
It's so fucking silly.
I thought the costume looked good.
I think his costume does look good. But
I think when it was bathed in red lighting, that one scene, that was pretty
I think his costume looks pretty good. I just think it's ridiculous that the other three aren't wearing, like, you got to put fucking Iron Fist in a costume. It looks so bad. It looks like, I'm quoting Bilotti, but it looks like it's the three of them and their fucking kid brother wearing his Halloween costume.
I'll agree. They look cooler in the elevator where he has the scarf and they're standing there. Like, that kind of works. It's a little more believable. But that's why you have Jessica Jones dropping lines like, let me know when they fit you for a costume to Luke Cage, or rolling her eyes and being like, this
even
again.
Even if Luke Cage would have just stayed in the yellow t-shirt.
The yellow shirt, yeah.
But like, he's in the hoodie. Jessica Jones is wearing the scarf and the leather jacket. And then Iron Fist is wearing like a suit or like regular human clothes. It's like, oh my God, it just looks bad. It's just so strange why they don't fucking embrace the comics more.
I mean, Jessica doesn't really have a costume.
No, I know that, but like, you could put Iron Fist in this. Like, it's weird. Visually, it's very strange.
Yeah. He sticks out.
He sticks out. And he's the only one wearing a costume on either side. No one's wearing a costume.
I mean, yeah, that's why if you at least had some fucking ninjas in ninja outfits.
Right. If you had the ninjas in ninja outfits, maybe that'd look
a little bit better, yes.
The stuff on screen would be a lot more visually appealing if you had people looking different than just regular people.
I also want to mention, I saw David Malosky on A Place to Hang Your Cape. They had an article. I didn't read it, but the headline is, would the Defenders have worked better if it was set in the 70s? And I kind of like that idea. Like, imagine, I kept thinking, like, imagine if this was like totally 70s fucking exploitation-y, pulpy show. It would kind of work if it was set in the 70s.
I think what happened, just the overall, is I think Daredevil was really good its first season as a crime drama.
Yes.
Jessica Jones was really good as this psychological kind of thriller. Daredevil, for the first half of his second season, was again another great crime drama.
Yeah.
Then it kind of fell off the cliff when it started introducing the hand and getting into this like mystical bullshit, which wasn't that interesting.
Yeah.
Then it started to fall off. So then you got Luke Cage, who for the first half of the season was really good as kind of like a blaxploitation nod.
Yeah.
With that hint of like hip hop.
Protecting the neighborhood.
Like, civil rights and all that stuff. But they never went all the way with it. And it went super comic booky with Diamondback.
Yes.
And then where they should have gone really wacky was Iron Fist. They should have went full like mysticism, fucking dragons, kung fu. Showing me all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the money for it. Nor did they plan it out properly, which is what I'm getting at, where they don't have this all planned out.
So
they had to rush something together.
Boardroom meetings.
So it became boardroom meetings / Arrow, / like weak ass Arrow / petulant whiny kid that can't fight because we didn't give him enough time to prepare for the role.
Yes.
So now, and so you take all those things and now you put it into Defenders, but you don't really put all those things into Defenders. You basically put the shitty parts of Iron Fist into Defenders.
Yeah.
And the shitty part of Daredevil Season 2 into Defenders.
Yes.
And this is what you get.
You know, noticeably missing, like we said, everyone is on the show except for your Wilson Fisk and your Punisher.
No Wilson Fisk, no Punisher.
And I'm wondering if maybe Fisk would have been a better villain.
Wilson Fisk would have been better. Punisher would have been better.
Because you've already built them up.
You also have no Kilgrave.
Well, oh yeah. Well,
he
was
dead. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead, but I'm saying, like, some of the best stuff of the other shows is you don't have Cottonmouth because he's dead. Like, some of the best stuff isn't there.
Yeah.
And it's very repetitive too, because every show except Jessica Jones, like, you had Wilson Fisk, you had whatchamacallit, you had who's the Luke Cage? You had Diamondback and Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
And then in Iron Fist you kind of had the Meachums. But you had all these like evil rich people kind of running everything.
Yeah.
And then in Defenders, again, the hand is not undead ninjas anymore. It's evil
like,
rich people.
It's evil rich corporate
running
people.
Things.
Yeah.
So it's repetitive, and it's not as it'll never be as good as it was with Wilson Fisk. So it's already a step down.
I mean, we literally just saw a half a season of Iron Fist with boardroom meetings, and you give us a fucking another boardroom meeting scene? I mean, granted, it was great, but still, this is not what
they screwed the pooch really on Iron Fist, because it should have been wacky as fuck and way out of left field. But there's this kind of aesthetic that Marvel Netflix wants, which is very like real world, lived in, actually could have happened sort of thing that they're going for. That at the end of the day, this is fucking comic books, man.
Yeah, and it was, but it was also comic booky, so it does set up things for the future of everything else, which is also kind of like, I felt there was a little force that had to like set, instead of being like a standalone thing, it's just another kind of blip. But I think the effects of this show will affect the characters moving forward, so that's kind of good. It's kind of important. I do like how Danny Rand is kind of like the Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark of the bunch, where in the restaurant he's like, "Oh, I just paid their rent for the next 6 months. We're fine." And like he owns the hospital Misty's in, and it's going to be because of him.
That needs to be more played up. Like,
yes,
that'd be cool.
All his money would come in so handy,
because you can be being rich isn't necessarily a bad thing anymore. Like, you got Tony Stark, who's been the rich guy. You've had Bruce Wayne, who's been the rich guy, and still people like them.
It's a huge advantage too in the team.
But instead, they keep playing up how much of a fucking, again, thundering dumbass he is.
He is
it's like, oh my god, and he's such a whiny little bitch all the fucking time, all the time.
It's so great. It's so great and horrible.
Oh my god, like it's just so. I don't even know. I lost my fucking train of thought.
Is the hand gone? Are they done?
I hope so. The hand has to go. Like, it was a cool idea in comics. They have not been able to pull it off on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just it's become so boring.
Yeah. No, they're just not compelling, not threatening, just fucking shitty villains. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
So in terms of Easter eggs, we really talked about a lot of them.
One more before you get into the Easter eggs.
Yes.
Because I give Batman versus Superman shit for this all the time.
Yeah.
And they did it here. In the last fucking episode.
Yes.
It's kind of a cool scene, but if you look at it from just on paper, but the way it's executed and what we know is going to come makes the scene not that great. Daredevil sacrifices himself with Elektra. Dies.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Supposed to be this like fucking emotional moment or whatever. Everyone's really sad. But the fucks at Netflix already announced a Daredevil season 3. So we already know that he's not going to die. And not only that, but they immediately undermine it by showing him alive at the end of the episode.
So that's
a scene. I know that's an Easter egg.
Yeah, that's a great place to start, because I was like, that's a cool Easter egg, but I kind of wish they didn't show us. But then I didn't even think about that they've already announced Daredevil 3, but still, I would have been okay if they left that out.
Well, I would have been okay. I think they handled that completely.
They announced season 3 so long ago, too.
Well, not only that, if you think about Avengers, so the closest comparison to this is Avengers because it's the same company. Avengers ends where Iron Man doesn't die. He makes a sacrifice, but he's still alive. And everyone at the end is like, really like, man, we did it together. We're awesome. We have this awesome moment. We're all going to go our separate ways. But if we ever need to come back together, we'll do it.
Yeah,
it's very positive. It's upbeat. Yeah. It's like, fuck yeah, I just saw the Avengers. I can't wait till their next adventure.
Yeah.
Well, the Defenders goes the opposite route and goes, oh man, Daredevil, he died. Everyone's so sad.
Everyone thinks he's dead. Yeah.
Iron Fist might become the next Daredevil and protect the city.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are like, wow, this was tragic. Wow, this is the worst thing.
What a bummer.
It's like, why would you end the Defenders when we've been waiting for this for 2-3 years now? Why would you end it on such a bummer?
I mean, you have Foggy and Karen in the church.
They're all like crying and shit. It's like, what? This is supposed to be the culmination. This is supposed to be fun. This isn't supposed to be the fucking. Why would
did
you end it on such a downer?
That's the thing. And they stopped them. They saved New York. They saved so many lives. But I think, those stingers I thought were interesting. Let's just break those down a little bit.
And then they immediately undermine the downer by showing that he's alive.
Well, yeah, I don't think they need it.
But even though we know that he's coming back. All right, go ahead on the stingers.
Okay, so we see Luke and Jessica kind of touch base. What do you think is next for Luke Cage? What did they set up for him?
Nothing,
really. It's just him and Jessica were like, oh, well.
The only thing they set up for him is that he's going to probably hook up with Jessica Jones again because they eventually have a kid in the comics.
And then
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
he had nothing to do in this show.
No, and then Danny Rand talks to Colleen, but then you see him, you see a silhouette. And did you think that was Matt at all for a second?
No,
I could tell his fro by his fucking afro silhouette.
What they're hinting at is in the comics, Iron Fist Danny Rand does become Daredevil.
He becomes Daredevil for a while, yes, because he whispered "protect my city" to him before, and Matt knew he wasn't gonna come out.
So, my question to you is: so is the next Daredevil? Is it with Danny Rand as Daredevil? Oh my God! That'd be the biggest bait and switch ever.
Oh, that would be horrible.
That'd be horrible.
Because we'll get into what they're doing. But really, one thing I thought of is that moving forward, there's no reason that all of these people can't show up on all the other shows now. They all know each other. They all fucking live in New York, blocks from each other.
Well, they all don't, like Jessica Jones doesn't really like to be.
Yeah, but there's no reason Luke Cage can't show up. There's no reason they can't call him and be like, oh, look, I know this guy's number now. Maybe they should all be showing up in each other's series.
I have a theory, I have a theory on how Iron Fist gets his costume.
Okay, he kind of had like a green and yellow jumpsuity thing at the end.
Sort of, yeah. But I think he gets the mantle as Daredevil and then gets so used to that he's like, I want to continue this vigilante stuff, but I don't want everyone to know. So then he puts on the Iron Fist.
Ew, would they do? Oh no! Don't do that. Don't make Finn Jones Daredevil for fuck's sake. And then
so then you did Luke Cage and Iron Fist
and Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones is
Alias. She finally takes the sheet off the door.
She's embracing becoming part of Alias
and
again.
She's become more
helping people.
Yeah, she's become more public. More people know about her.
Right.
So she's kind of embracing that, which is what we got at the end of Jessica Jones.
She got a decent character arc, even though she wasn't written in very well.
Yeah, and I mean they all had some growth.
One nitpick real quick on Jessica Jones. That scene where she is going through the filing cabinets and looking up the companies.
Funny. Yeah.
How fucking boring was that?
I thought it was funny though.
I thought it was boring as fuck. it's just her rifling through paper.
Yes, it's scenes of her going through a card catalog over and over again.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
And then like when she realizes she studies all the signatures and realizes how old Alexandra is, but like it didn't matter. Who cares? It had nothing to do with anything.
It didn't matter because they killed her in the 6th episode.
Oh, so stupid. But finally, the scene that I was like, what's gonna happen? Is Matt alive? They pan up. Matt's on a bed in a convent, all bandaged up, and he starts to wake up. And then you hear the nun go, get Sister Maggie. He's waking up. This is clearly an allusion to the Born Again series, Maggie, Sister Maggie being his biological mother that I don't think he ever met.
No.
That's kind of been keeping tabs on him.
Yep.
And that's like the first page. That shot of him in bed is very similar to the first page of Born Again comic book.
Yeah, if they go with that storyline, that's Kingpin really fucks
That
up
is
his
a
life.
dark fucking storyline to the point where Karen, I don't know if they're going to do this with this Karen Page. That Karen Page is addicted to heroin. She is a junkie to the point where she sells Matt's identity to Kingpin to get money to buy drugs. Like this, how dark and deep it gets in that fight. And
there has been hints that she has a dark past.
Well, she still killed that guy and didn't tell anyone. Wesley. She killed Wesley.
And she knew how to use that gun really well. And there's still parts of her character that haven't been unveiled.
There's like one line where she's talking to Trish where I think she talks about like the darkness or something.
Yeah.
Real quick, Trish Walker, what kind of fucking radio show is she running? Is it an advice show? Is it pop culture? Is it a news show? Why is she reporting on tremors? And I don't understand what this radio show is. It's all over the place. But if they're gonna do Born Again, that's kind of
cool.
exciting. It's kind of exciting. But
the only shows I'm really excited about are Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Are we to assume that Elektra pulled Matt out of the rubble of the building?
I don't know what to
Did he
assume
make
with
it
that.
out himself? Is Elektra still alive?
She might still even be alive. Who knows?
So I think Gao is still alive. They didn't explicitly show us. When they don't show you the deaths,
That's true.
they might come back. We saw a Stan Lee cameo. I don't know if you caught that in the third episode. He's on the when Matt's tailing Jessica, that whole scene, there's a poster of him as a cop.
Okay.
Matt and Jessica's first meeting where he comes in, he's like, don't say another word. I'm your attorney, Matt Murdock. Straight from the comic books. Alias number 3. It was a lot like that. That was really cool. I'd like seeing that. You got a hint of Elektra's red costume, but she shows up at Midland Financial.
Well, she's wearing the red costume.
Yeah, it's cool. I saw this when Matt plays the piano. Apparently that's the theme to Daredevil or the Defenders he's playing. I forgot.
The piano scene is bad too.
What was the deal with that? I don't even remember. Why was he fucking playing the piano?
Well, they said that the dad, the architect's been sitting at the piano but not playing it for a long time.
And then he hits the button.
So he's like, oh, but there's something to that.
The fucking hand can't find blueprints in a piano. Are you fucking serious? Nobody caught this?
It's just stupid.
And then that's why Colleen wants to drop the building. They do the whole losing the Empire Strikes Back thing, Stick losing his hand. Daughters of the Dragon was cool. And then, did you watch the very end of episode 8 after the credits?
With a Punisher teaser?
They showed the Punisher little
That might be good.
Which we'll talk about that in a second. We talk about what's next for the MCU on Netflix. Real quick, this shouldn't be hard. Let's rank the series.
Okay.
We only have out of 6 now?
Yeah.
Where would you put this?
Oof, this is rough. I have it out of 6. I debate between 4 and 5. I lean towards 4.
Okay.
Right in front of Luke Cage and Iron Fist, although if someone made a strong enough argument, I could put Luke Cage above it.
Yes.
And out of 10, I'm going to go right at 4.8.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with the show.
How long did it take you? How long did it take you to watch it?
Like 2 or 3 days. It was easy watch.
It's a very easy watch. I did 2 a day for 4 days. For me, nothing's so far has beat Daredevil season 1. Still the best. Second to that is Daredevil season 2. Even with the weak back half, loved it. Then I would put Jessica Jones right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then same with you. It's a very close tie. Defenders and Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Very close. I was like, I put it ahead of Luke Cage. And then I was like, maybe it's tied. So it's about the same. I'll put it at 4 or 5. And then, of course, the Iron Fist. But I'd give it more like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think what 7 out of 10, I think is fair. Just
you're a very generous rater.
I liked it. I mean, I liked it a little bit better. I liked seeing everyone, but boy, did it have its problems. And I felt like it should have been more slightly disappointing.
I can't see how you can rate it that highly when the plot is just complete shit and the villains are so bad.
I give it, I think that the characters and the cast of the main 4 really, that saved it for me. Just seeing them together was awesome.
Seeing them together was cool, but
they got nothing much to do.
They had not a lot. There's not a lot going on, and
very simple story.
The plot that's the thing too.
It's vague.
With 8 episodes.
Yeah,
I know we complain about 13 episodes, but 8 seemed like the wrong number too, because unlike the other series, there's like these different storylines and different arcs where you can, like in. For example, Daredevil season 2, you had the Punisher storyline, and then you had the Elektra storyline.
And
so
then
you had all these things going on. With 8 episodes, they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So it was literally like, let's stop the hand storyline, and that went 8 fucking episodes.
It drags on. It's uneven.
And it's dragging.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't enough story there.
There's so many times where like the Hand could have easily killed all these motherfuckers. They're literally just standing around looking at each other and nothing happens. And I'm like, you had so many chances. They're so bad at their job.
That's bad. There's the scene in the Lucky Dragon restaurant where Alexandra shows up out of nowhere and everyone knows she's the villain and no one does anything to her.
Right,
She does is talk to all of them and then walk
right
out.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a hint that she could fight, but you really didn't get that.
No. Well, this is going to sound terrible.
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead, say it.
There's a hint that she could fight, but Sigourney Weaver looks so fucking old.
Oh shit!
And
this isn't Ripley anymore, people.
No,
I'm sorry.
And her arm. I mean, she's still tall.
Yeah.
But I would look at her arms and I'd be like, "You have old lady arms."
Yeah.
Like there's, and like she would walk around sleeveless all the time. At least like Madame Gao is like covered.
Yeah.
And she has like her little like push power, even though that's kind of weird too. But Sigourney, I mean, she does not look threatening.
They tried to make her fight for like a second.
She does not look threatening at all.
Her presence is great, but she's not. What was that? It was a waste. It was a waste.
I cannot believe they casted her and wasted her that badly.
Yeah, that was just like bait. It was bait for viewers to be like, oh shit. And Marco Ramirez says something about that. He's like, oh, we just wanted to like, wouldn't it be crazy if this main villain you thought was the villain that she just died in the middle?
Yeah,
Let's do something different.
He was like, it's more of an Elektra story. And I was like, well, it's kind of lame because we've been hinted at what the Black Sky now since Daredevil season 1, and I still don't know what the fuck the Black Sky is.
It's not even a thing. I did kind of love when she killed her though. She's like, okay, I'm in charge. Now you guys work for me. I was like, oh shit. So
can you tell me what the Black Sky is?
It's a weapon. I don't know. It was the kid, but they killed the kid.
They killed that kid.
Her. But it's a vessel.
And it makes, what is it like? It's like their super soldier.
I don't know. I thought that like it was going to be but it almost seemed like what they were hinting at is Sigourney Weaver was going to use her body to live on as the Black Sky, but it wasn't even that.
Yeah,
and it just came down to that Elektra was just too strong.
It's again another example of
it's so
they
vague.
Wrote this thing and they didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
It was so vague. The vagaries.
It was literally Marco Ramirez was like, well, they wrote about the Black Sky over here.
We should probably
and they used that hole. Let's get that in here. And
look, so to their credit, they did close up a lot of these open-ended plot points. You know,
I guess. I mean, I still don't know where the fuck Kunlun is. They never really addressed that.
We know what was in the hole and what all this shit was and what the Hand does and who the chase is. Who was that guy Stick was talking to in Daredevil? That big guy.
No clue. Still haven't.
Because he said all the chased are dead.
Yep, still haven't figured that out.
They're just making shit up.
They're just making it up as they go along.
Okay, so real quick, what's next for the Marvel shows on Netflix?
Punisher.
The Punisher trailer, and we also got a photo here of Bernthal kind of like in a black Punisher outfit. You see the skull. I kind of like it because it's not like super white. It's kind of like subdued black. What did you think of that trailer? He's pounding at the concrete. You see very iconic shots of him and his family and then some wartime stuff.
I thought it was okay. I have to be honest with you. I loved Punisher in season 2. I'm just so cooled off on Marvel Netflix right now that I can't get myself excited about anything they're producing. Like, I really, really, truly believe that they put all their resources into that first season of Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Right. Yeah.
And they didn't actually have a plan.
Yeah.
And now that they've announced all these shows,
they got to make
they're just rushing into production and they don't really know what the fuck they're doing.
I'll agree. Remember how excited we were when the first Daredevil came out, dude?
So good.
I was like, holy shit, dude, somebody got this right.
Well, then they followed up with Jessica Jones.
And that was also great. Good. Yes.
Yeah. And then Daredevil season 2 was also very solid. But
first
then
75% solid.
Yeah. And then I was like, even though Daredevil season 2 kind of ends on a whimper, I was still like, that was still pretty good.
And then Luke Cage, 50% solid.
Then Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, 0% solid.
And then you get to this, and they don't stick the landing on this.
This goes up a little bit, 40, 50% solid.
So it's just, I really, this is my honest
Does it make you worried for the Punisher then?
I just don't think Jeff Loeb knows what he's fucking doing. He's also the guy that runs Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I've heard my opinions on that. Yeah. So I just don't think they've had this actually planned out all that well. And I don't think they're hiring the right writers for this stuff. And I don't think they're giving these people enough time to actually make a decent show.
That's interesting. I mean, The Punisher should work fairly easily. You can be violent. You know, Bernthal's talked about how he fought to not make the Punisher, Frank Castle, heroic, to have him turn his back on the audience, do things that the audience wouldn't like because he does not need to be likable. So let's see how far they can push this. Who's the bad guy in this? I mean, there is a bad guy. I'll have to look it up, but this is as street level as you get. No powers, all guns. Will there be cameos from anyone else? Wilson Fisk, Karen Page will be in this. That should be coming out in November. We still don't have a date, which is interesting because it's not far. We don't know the exact date it's dropping. Then I think this is the order they're going to do things. Daredevil would Daredevil be next? Jessica Jones, maybe Luke Cage is next. Season 2, Jessica Jones season 2. We know Kilgrave's going to be in it. Daredevil season 3, we're going to try to do a Born Again, and then Iron Fist season 2. And what you said about them not having enough time for these shows, the articles are coming out that Finn Jones is already beginning training for Iron Fist for 4 months before season 2 filming. So he said, this is what Finn said himself. Now, just going to let you know, moving into season 2 Iron Fist, I'm actually starting my training next week. We're at least 4 or 5 months away from shooting. So this time around, I'm being given a lot more preparation leading up to season 2, which I think is really going to have a huge improvement on the quality of the fight scenes in season 2 of Iron Fist, which is great. But back to what we said, I agree. I think they should scrap Luke Cage Iron Fist season 2 and just go for the Heroes for Hire.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to do the Heroes for Hire. I think Luke Cage is interesting on his own, but I think his power set makes him slightly uninteresting because he's just a fucking tank.
Yeah.
But I think they had great chemistry, and I don't think Finn Jones can carry his own show.
Let's not see that again. And you have, I mean, they would play great, and their powers are kind of a nice compliment, even though he is just punchy, but one's more elegant and one's more brute force. Don't waste time with the fucking more Luke Cage Iron Fist. Just do Heroes for Hire. I don't know. And they're probably going to
They have a great dynamic. Like when he's like telling him about like the dragons and all that shit, and Luke Cage is just like, huh.
He's like, what now?
But then he's just like, he listens to him because he's like kind of big brother. Like that works. And the whole class, like race thing, like that works. The whole, like, the whole dichotomy of the rich guy and then the poor man just looking out for the everyman.
Man, how great would that be in a Heroes for Hire where Danny comes to Harlem and starts to see, the situation and then uses his money and his power to change things. And then the power vacuum in Harlem gets threatened by them and they go after both of them. Look, I just wrote your first season. There you go. Fucking nerd. Just make that.
Yeah, I got nothing more.
Yeah, that's about it. Let's go. I got a couple of reviews from the listener.
All right.
I got a review from Ron Hans. He says, hey, Imran, I'll keep this much shorter than my Spider-Man review. As you saw on the Facebook community page, I finished this rather quickly. I think he was first to finish it. He's like, done. I was like, oh, shit. Partly because I really enjoyed the street level universe and partly because I wanted to get the taste of that second half of Luke Cage and all of Iron Fist left in my mouth, out of my mouth. Overall, I really like the series. I think Daredevil and Jessica Jones were the strongest parts of the series, but that is not to say that Luke Cage and Iron Fist were bad. I thought Finn Jones was much better in this than his own series. I thought his fighting was much better. I also feel that the directors made it a point to show close-ups of his face in a lot of fight sequences, fighting with Daredevil in the start of episode 6. My favorite parts of it were all the little Easter eggs about the negative buzz from Iron Fist. It was even a line that Colleen says to Claire. Claire, don't worry, Danny's the Iron Fist, Colleen, and he will tell anyone that will listen. Nitpicks were the 5 fingers of the hand. I think it was cool how they tied Gao and Bakudo, but they could have used the Murakami over Nobu in Daredevil Season 2. Really, I wish they built the 5 fingers up more than they did in the previous season. Yep. That's what we said. They needed more episodes, but not more episodes. One last Easter egg. I don't know if you caught, but Daredevil sits down and starts playing the piano. He's playing the Daredevil intro music. Thought that was cool. Anyway, can't wait to hear your review on this. Thanks, Ron. Thank you, Ron. And from our buddy Wes Cranford. Yank from Down Under. By the way, both of these guys, thank you for supporting us on Patreon and writing in constantly and getting involved. You guys are awesome. Wes says, hey, mate, how's it? I was chuckling hearing you guys complain about movie prices. Just to make you feel better, an adult ticket price here is $22.
Oh, shit.
We do have Tight Ass Tuesday, half price, and Family Pass for $50. Also, all our theaters sell alcohol. It's Australia, after all. Now, my review of Defenders without spoilers, I hope. I really liked it. They tightened it up, so no real downtime. Episode 7 starts a bit slow, but it doesn't drag for too long. The interaction of characters is very good, and I was happy with the villains. They do a good job of making you see and feel their motivations. Nice surprises and really good twists. Iron Fist is not bad in the beginning, but becomes a bit insipid in the end. As per normal, it helps that everyone is taking the piss out of him. It's good, not my fave, but good. I rank it a close 3 behind Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Defenders, Luke Cage, and one I can't remember the name of or just don't want to. He saw the Batman and Harley movie. Batman and Harley was fun. Good humor, lots of nods to Batman 66. Yes, sexy, not good for my kid, but hell, you can't protect them from content anymore anyway. I mean, you have to warn them about adults touching them at 6.
Oh, fucking
Fucked up world, to say the least. Oh, well, it's the one we've been dealt with. Man, email is long-winded. Anthony's going to start calling me Imran Jr. LOL. Keep up, great work, and nice job. Nice job, Joe. Wes Yank from Down Under. Thanks for writing in, you guys. He liked it
in.
He liked it a little bit better than even we did.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree, Wes. But yeah, there it is. Defenders.
That's it, man.
Now we got to wait till hopefully Punisher in November.
Is that when it's coming out? November?
That's what I keep seeing, but there has been no official date. But if that's true, man, November is going to give us Thor, Justice League, and The Punisher.
Oh, man, that's a good month.
Well, that is
what a time to be alive if you're a comic book
It is a
fan.
golden age of mediocre comic book content. Well, mediocre to good. Some better than others. But it's just disappointing that the solo series are like, for the most part, better than this thing we were waiting for.
I want to reiterate. I'm just disappointed because they started off on such a high note, and they've kind of just cooled off, and this should have been like the culmination, and it wasn't Avengers. Avengers was amazing, and this is what they were kind of basing that off of, and they didn't stick the landing at all, in my opinion.
It's just another chapter. It's another stepping stone to set up future things, and then they just
you're not going to look. It's not going to be one of those. Marvel set the precedent for this.
Yeah,
Avengers. Everyone looks back at Avengers and goes, wow, that was fucking amazing. Like, I can't believe they pulled that off. Studios are looking back at that and go, we need to do that. We need to build shared universes. No one is going to look back at Defenders and be like, that was fucking amazing. We need to do something like that.
Yeah, they didn't really set a bar or a trend or anything. They did with the first season of Daredevil, but even themselves,
but they haven't been able to hit that bar.
Couldn't keep up that standard. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Punisher, but entertaining nonetheless. Easy breezy watch. Again, I watched it. I was like, all right, that's pretty good. Didn't blow me away, but pretty good.
You love everything.
I love everything. I love you, listener. Thank you for listening to us. This has been the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
Well, peep you next time, yo. See you later, fam.
Got